Hello, welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters. Today, we're going to be talking about transmaxing. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. Turn on the notification bell so you know when I'm releasing another video. Now, if you haven't heard of transmaxing until just now, don't worry. Don't worry, because hadn't heard of it until maybe a couple of months ago when C4 or Channel 4, as you may know it, released a documentary on transmaxing. And I was like, what is transmaxing? What on earth is transmaxing? And so I went and looked it up and then rewatched the documentary and then went and looked at something that the documentary mentions in the documentary. Don't worry, I will link the documentary to you. It is available on YouTube. So here we go. Transmaxer. A transmaxer is someone who undergoes gender transition for personal gain, such as overcoming dysphoric singlehood rather than gender dysphoria. And to transmax is undergo a gender transition, usually male to female, to overcome dysphoric singlehood, more commonly known as involuntary celibacy, or incel, as the abbreviated version of that is called. Okay, so that's the definitions. Let's have a look at a brief clip from the documentary, which I have linked below.
My way to spend a few days with Sammy, who started their transmaxing journey a little over a year ago.
So Sammy identifies as a transmaxer. The idea is that Sammy didn't have much luck in relationships and love as a man. The kind of transmaxing ideology has told them that if they transition to a woman, they'll have a lot more success. So Sammy is kind of very much into that transition and has agreed to talk to me about it. It is undeniably a controversial topic, potentially the most controversial one of this Life Uncovered series. How you doing, Sammy? I'm Ben. Nice to meet you. Really nice to meet you. Should we go for a little stroll? Like this place, got a nice little spot, a tiny fridge.
Yeah, I got all the essentials.
Can I see what's in the fridge?
Probably full, but
Let's see, moment of truth.
I've got some cakes in there.
If you're a big fan of AA batteries,
Yeah, you need a lot because I, gained quite a bit.
can you pull out the pre-transition clothes just so I can have a look?
Sure.
This is old Sammy. Flannel
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah, pretty basic, not too flashy. This is me when I was 20. Hair is starting to recede a little bit. Not a great time in my life. I wouldn't look at that and think, yeah, that is a masculine dude. When I saw this picture, it's like, yeah, I need to do something about my appearance.
What did you think a man was at this point?
Dominant, successful, outgoing, confident, strong, resilient.
How did you think you sat in relation to that?
I was a far cry from that. I would take a lot of work to even get close to that.
I'm looking at that and I'm like, yeah.
Okay, so that's enough of that. Now, one thing that Sammy says here is that he says that it would take him a lot of work to get close to that, to being a man. And my argument would be against that, to counter that. Wouldn't it be the same for transitioning into being a trans woman? That's what I would think. That's the question I would ask. Wouldn't it take the same amount of work? Maybe even it being a lot harder, because obviously there's a lot a lot of biological women don't have facial hair. A lot of biological women don't have receding hairlines or anything like that. And so my argument would be, wouldn't it be a lot harder? You know, being on HRT, because Sammy is on HRT as well, and pumping your body full of that to get breasts to grow, that takes a lot of work and a lot of time. So that would be like my counter argument to that. There are obviously pros and cons to being a man. There's pros and cons to being a woman as well, in my opinion. Of course there is. Okay, let's have a look at the manifesto. So in this documentary, Sammy mentions, talks about a manifesto. This is that said manifesto. Okay, so transmaxing, excuse me. There are many potential benefits from transitioning from male to female. It seems to me that, oh, here we go, 0 sexual excitement from having a feminine body. And I was just about to say, I've not read this yet. It seems to me that this could also potentially be a sexual thing. And there you go, there you have it. Number 1, the superiority of female aesthetics. 2, access to the transbian dating pool. 3, full body orgasms, 4, multiple orgasms from penile stimulation. 5, you will feel emotions stronger and be happier on estrogen. 6, your breasts will become sensitive. 7, being able to attract cis lesbians if you become attractive enough. That may be the case, but you will find that lesbians have only one genital preference. Just saying. 8, high quality males will be attracted to you. 9, softer skin and less / no acne. 10, live longer, and they've linked a website here. 11, being able to extract resources from males. So I'm guessing that's like paying for dinner, buying drinks. The womanly wiles, I guess, stereotypical womanly wiles, perhaps, resources. By the way, I do buy men drinks and I do buy them dinner. But maybe I'm a bit more of a tomboy, so I don't know. Make of that what you will with me in that regard. You will no longer be driven to do dangerous and idiotic things due to testosterone. Okay, well, I threw myself off a bridge in Japan for a bungee jump, so 13, stop and reverse hair loss. Right, okay, so quick question about that. HRT, would that actually help you, estrogen, help you reverse hair loss? It would slow it down, surely, but for a man, biological man, would that prevent it? There are many ways, obviously, to go around reducing a receding hairline. I'm sure that there are male medical treatments that can be done, and they do hair transplants to help with hairline receding as well. People will treat you better if they think you are female. You see, the thing is, there is still misogyny and all of that. Less likely to be offed. 16 is female spaces are cleaner and generally more pleasant, not having to shower with males. Listen, we women share changing rooms as well, and we have, showers and all of that in those ones. Legal sex change becomes more viable. Cheaper car insurance, getting diversity hired. Is that right? Cheaper car insurance. I thought it was the same. Oh well. Transmaxing. That's the definition of transmaxing. That's what the manifesto says, and that's the reason why someone like Sammy is making the transition from male to female. Now, obviously, it's still a relatively new concept to me. My question is this harming the trans community, trans people, trans women, trans men, transsexuals who have genuine gender dysphoria? Does it make a mockery of that? And another question is this harming women? Now, in that documentary, there is an interview with a transsexual woman in there, and she says that it's not actually harming anyone. However, I think it does infringe on women's rights in many respects. I genuinely do feel that, because women get paid less. There are certain jobs that women can't do that biological men can do. So it does potentially infringe upon those. So there's lots of like pros and cons to it. Now, obviously, if Sammy wishes to transmax, then that's up to him. But I don't think it's great, to be honest. I think just doing it because you're incel, and perhaps not addressing the other issues first before actually having to make that decision. I mean, because from what I saw with the documentary, that's what it felt like it was doing. That he was saying there was no way that he could address those issues living as a biological man. He couldn't address those issues. So that's why he's transitioning to being a woman, because he thinks he will be better off. But in reality, will he be better off from following a manifesto like this? I don't necessarily believe that, because like I say, there's pros and cons to being a woman, and he wants to transition to the woman for all the good stuff. And doesn't transitioning also introduce a whole load of other issues? I have so many questions about this. I really do. It's such a new term for me. Let me know what you think. Chat about it, don't shout about it, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.